One, two, countryman. When we all sing, when we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory. And yeah, Islanders, when the countryman is still preparing his guitar. And then there is a group here sharing a name. The group here sharing a name. I don't know if we can speak. Huh? Yeah, what's your name?
Adamu na Hawa walitenda dhambi, hawakusikia lake Mungu. Adamu na Hawa walitenda dhambi, hawakusikia lake Mungu. Tunda lile Adamu walilokula walisikia la Shetani. Tunda lile Adamu walilokula walisikia la Shetani. Adamu, tunda lile walilokatazwa na Mungu walikula. 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 Adamu, 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 Adamu na Hawa. Adamu, 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 Adamu na Hawa. 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 Wasikia lake Mungu. Adamu na Hawa. Adamu wasikia lake Adamu na Hawa. Adamu
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. My heart can see when it was to remember other day, but you, my heart can see when it was to remember other day is but a stepping stone along the trail that's winding always upward. This troubled one is not my final home. But until then, my heart will go singing. Until then, with joy carry on. Until the day, my heart before the sea. Until the day, God calls me home. The of us will dim and lose the value if we recall the borrowed for our life. On things of us that cover us to tremble, remember them with only bring a smile. But until then, my heart will go singing. My heart before the city, until the day God calls me home. But until then, my heart will go singing. And then with joy carry on until the day my heart before the city until the day God calls me home. And until then my heart is gone singing. Until then, with joy carry on. Until the day my heart before the city. Until the day God calls me home. Amen. Good. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let us turn to in 525. After that, we love the host family. blessed rock of ages on high, hiding in thee, hiding in thee, hiding in thee, thou blessed rock of ages on high, hiding in thee. In the calm of the noontide, in sorrow from wrath, in times when temptation must fall his path, in the tempest of life, on his wide waving sea, thou blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee, hiding in thee, hiding in thee, thou blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee. How often the conflict when passed by the foe, I fled to my refuge and prayed out my woe. How often when trials like sea billows roll, I hid in thee, O the rock of my soul. Hiding in thee, the voice, hiding in thee, thou blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee, I'm hiding in thee, hiding in thee, thou blessed rock of ages, I'm hiding in thee. After the voice, we love first years. First years, please.
Ati kuna mvua njema yenye neema, watu wanaona vyema, wanamwona uninyeshe. Mibaraka zako twahitaji leo, Bwana jidhihirishe leo. Mibaraka zako twahitaji leo, Bwana jidhihirishe leo. Ati kuna mvua njema yenye neema, watu wanaona vyema, wanamwona uninyeshe. Mibaraka zako twahitaji leo, Bwana jidhihirishe leo. Mibaraka zako twahitaji leo, Bwana jidhihirishe leo. Tutakusifu, tutakuinua Bwana, kwa maana upendo wako kwetu ni kuu. Tulipopua shimoni mwa dhambi, Baba, ukamtuma mwana wako atufie. Kwa kifo chake pale msalabani, Bwana, tuwe huru, sifa heshima ni zako. Kwa kifo chake pale msalabani Bwana, toweko huru, sifa heshima ni zako. Ewe mchunga mpenzi, mkombozi wetu, chini miguuni pako twanyenyekea Bwana, twakuomba utuondole mizigo ya dhambi tuwe utuondole mizigo ya dhambi tuwe huru. Ewe mchunga mpenzi, mkombozi wetu, chini miguuni pako twanyenyekea Bwana, utuondole mizigo ya dhambi tuwe huru. Twakuomba utuondole mizigo ya dhambi tuwe huru.
Tutakusifu, tutakuinua Bwana,
kwa maana upendo wako kwetu ni kuu.
tulipokuheshimuni mwanamke Baba,
ukamtuma mwana wako atufie. Kwa kifo chake pale msalabani Bwana, toweko huru, sifa heshima ni zako. Kwa kifo chake pale msalabani Bwana, toweko huru, sifa heshima ni zako.
tutakusifu, tutakuinua Bwana,
Kwa maana upendo wako kwetu ni kuu.
tulipokuheshimuni mwanamke Baba,
ukamtuma mwana wako atufie. Kifo chake pale msalabani Bwana, kwa kifo chake pale msalabani Bwana, toweko huru, sifa heshima ni zako.
we'll do 3 hymns, and after those 3, we'll have this choir in double name India. We will harmonize so to see which one is coming. Okay, let us song 3 Kiswahili, 10 Kiswahili, and then 18 Kiswahili. 3, 10, 18. We are starting with 3. And after those 3, we'll have this one. mizigo mizito ya dhambi. Bwana Yesu atawapumzisha, yuko hai kutuombea. For those who wrote a note and you've not gotten time, I won't promise you that you will sing next Sabbath. I don't know whether I'll be the chorister. So we are going to do 172. Kiswahili? 172 Kiswahili. As you also move. For those who wrote a note and you've not gotten time, I won't promise you that you will sing next Sabbath. I don't know whether I'll be the chorister. So we are going to do 172. Kiswahili? 172 Kiswahili. As you also move. For those who wrote a note and you've not gotten time, I won't promise you that you will sing next Sabbath. I don't know whether I'll be the chorister. So we are going to do 172. Kiswahili? 172 Kiswahili. As you also move.
Bible study. I know somebody is now wondering, sasa kila mtu akipewa 1 hour, tutatoka hapo usiku. Ama tutatoka kesho. That is not so. Each of them will just speak kiasi. So we'll have a Bible study, but we're going to tackle the issues of life. And each of them have various experience in various areas that are affecting our lives as youth. So that is what we're going to do. My duty now is just to let you know the panelists that we have. Before I come to that, this is how it's going to be. We'll have a short session taken by one of the panelists that will highlight on various areas that we tackle. Then after that, if there be a question within those areas, then we will now interact. Then the other panelists, their work will only just be to share experience, just to share their experience, and then we can also give a counsel maybe from experiential knowledge. Yeah, so that is what's going to be. It will take us less than so I am Elisha, as you all know, from my Mkono wa Kukula. Yes, so from Mkono wa Kukula, Fadeth right, we have the thro. You can greet us. Good. Then next we have Roy. Next we have Tobias. Don't say Tobias, it's Tobias. So Tobias, please smile. Then next we have, what's her name? What I will introduce her as doing. What's her name? Okay. Anne, you can greet us. And umesahau jina lake, mwenye kwa mkono wa kushoto ama kulia ama kucheka. So Evelyn, it does. Please smile. Good. See, they are preserving their voices because they have special time that you will hear the voices. So don't worry. For now, I would like to invite the first speaker. Karibu. What's her name?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yes, I think you've heard my name, and it's a privilege to stand in front of university students. In my lifetime in the campus, I never had a program. I was among the backbenchers, and interestingly, I'm with one of my colleagues who was in college. So, and coincidentally, the same group used to be called by your name, MUSDA. However, that was the first MUSDA. These other MUSDAs have come after the original MUSDA. So don't worry, we are MUSDAs and we are alumni of MUSDA, so we are part of you by the essence that the name says so. So allow me to remove my mask. Today, I would like to welcome all of you. We are going to talk about balancing social, academic, and spiritual life. I think it matters on all our aspects as students, and it's interesting. We'll try to go as per what is written here, and as you can read, and I would like to start by saying that you are lucky. You are lucky to be a university student. So many wish to be in the university, especially during and after post-Matiang'i era. I believe all of us are post-Matiang'i, those who are students here, isn't it? isn't it? Yes. We, as the old school, let me say we are old school, some of us here, not all of them. Tobias, 50-50, Evelyn, 50-50, my friend there, 50-50. But Roy and I am sure of, we were in those years when you used to hear Nyachayas being the, what were they called? Not cabinet secretaries, they were ministers. Minister alikuwa anatangaza matokeo. So you are lucky because you passed. And by the way that you are lucky, God has given you the brain. Not that your brain is unique, only that you have exercised your brain to the maximum for you to have passed the exam. Some of us who are not lucky to go to the university, maybe they had other factors that made them not to be as bright as you are, or the conditions were not conducive. So now that you are in the higher learning, institution of higher learning, a lot is expected of you as a university student. Everybody, when you say you are in university, people look at you from a different angle, not like the way they look at somebody who says, I'm in Meru Polytechnic or this Polytechnic which is down here. First years, I hear you are most of you are first years and second years. What is the Polytechnic that is after Kianjai? Yes, Karumo. So there's a difference between a Karumo student, thank you. Now though, that one is an old school. Yeah. So by the virtue that you're in a university, the parents and other people, the society expects a lot from you. Okay? So if they expect a lot from you, they expect you to be academically sound, they expect you to be socially sound, and to add on that, spiritually good. Now, let's see. Now that most of us have been in that situation, or we are in that situation, you know that you must have worked hard to have passed your examination. Let's continue. So that you, now that you've worked hard to ensure that you are in this university, and by the virtue that you are a youth, just know that you are a very valuable resource in the society. We are adding trouble on you. We are putting hot coals on your head. You are a university student, you are a bright student, you are also a youth. As a youth, you are a greatest asset in this society. The society usually says you are the future leaders, but I don't think you are the future leaders. I think you are the current leaders. Look at the crop of MPs that we have, and the governors and the MCS. They are as young as you are. Let me just quote one of the writers called E.G. White in 1892. She says, we require for our youth and children a liberal education in the useful branches of secular studies, which you are having, secular studies in this institution, and through a thorough and effectual training in the science of godliness, with the Bible for a textbook. We also require school where those who wish to become useful in the Lord's work may receive the necessary training for such work, so that they may go out equipped with an understanding of principles of Christian labor and how to apply them. Now, that is when she was talking about establishing schools. We are in a public institution, and we are trying to amalgamate what she had envisioned by ensuring that there are services within, amongst us, in the institutions of higher learning that are public-based, so that we can have a crop of youth that will come out with all those virtues that she had envisioned in her dream previously, or during those years of 19th century. Now, we need to ensure that we have a balance of all these things, so that as a student, as a university student, you are able to stand out and ensure that there is balance between those three things. They can always be competing, or they can be conflicting, but you need to balance them because they are essential in our life. You need to be in church, you need also to socialize, and you need also to study, because that is your core business as to why you were brought to the university previously or during those years or so. We'll look at this paradigm in various aspects. We'll start with spiritual. And as we speak about spiritual, I believe and trust that all of us who are here, we ascribe to or we have a wish and a want that we would want to grow spiritually. And if you want to grow spiritually, then we need to ensure that we balance our spirituality or our spiritual growth to ensure that we are doing well spiritually. We have a book called Fundamentals of Business. Why you were brought to the university previously or during those years or so. We'll look at this paradigm in various aspects. We'll start with spiritual. And as we speak about spiritual, I believe and trust that all of us who are here, we ascribe to or we have a wish and a want that we would want to grow spiritually. And if you want to grow spiritually, then we need to ensure that we balance our spirituality or our spiritual growth to ensure that we are doing well spiritually. We have a book called Fundamentals of Business. Why you were brought to the university previously or during those years or so. We'll look at this paradigm in various aspects. We'll start with spiritual. And as we speak about spiritual, I believe and trust that all of us who are here, we ascribe to want to grow and be like Christ. Want to grow and be like Christ. And in growing to be like Christ, those are the ingredients of growth. We also need to ensure that we participate in church activities. These are church activities that you know. They are not new. Most of the things that will be discussing basically are things that you know. Like now, some of us are leaders. I heard the elders here. Elders Mpo. Elders by show of hands. It's only one elder. There's another one who or there is another one in the treasury team to ensure that the treasurers are doing the right thing. Good. Yes, it's good to have such elders. We also have the singers. If you are a singer, not this is a singing, the hymnals, choir singing by show of hands. Well, any choir. I hear there are so many choirs here. Basically, are things that you know. Any choir members? I can see that's nice. We also have those who are preachers. Any person who has ever preached or would wish to preach. There's another one or there is another one. Even now, sister there, I had to sing alto. Sing alto. Yes, it's good to have. He's also a preacher. Yeah, ladies are rare. In the university, this is the opportunity to build up your capability or capacities. How many have ever gone for a mission? Most of you are first years. All the first years. Don't worry, you will go. Second years who have ever gone for mission. I can see that's nice. Good. Thank you. They've ever gone for mission. These guys, some of us will finish university without knowing there was something like mission for your information. So you are ahead. There are those who are good in Bible study, those who participate in Bible study, and a joke knowledge a lesson when they are late so that they ensure that the Bible study is over. So that they are not asked, what does Isaiah say in chapter 40 of verses 2 about comfort my people? They just want to wait when they are finishing. We are on Thursday. How many are lesson moderators or Bible study teachers? Preachers are not necessarily Bible study teachers. How many are Bible study specialists or trying to be? By show of hands. Good. Even the ladies, wonderful. Yeah. So, we have even those who just attend church. They've always been church. They don't They don't participate in those things they have done, but they will go to the toilet, they will sing. Those ones I will not ask them to raise up their hands. Staki our seniors waone. It is part of growing, participating in church. If all of us were singers, whom would you sing to? Have you ever discovered that when the church choir sings, very few people would say amen? Have you discovered? Yes, thank you for those who have discovered. But don't give up. You are not singing for the congregants, you are singing for who? God. Yes, there are those who are specialists in giving. We need to participate in giving tithe and offerings. That's why some people, they are very busy. All that time they have not finished. They are still struggling. Sometimes what you've received is not what that you've counted. What treasure is more than uzajua. Now, apart from those talents, we also as youth have talked, what I've said we do daily could be translated to our talents. And we know that these talents, they are meant to edify God, to edify Christ. And therefore, you find that when you give service, you're giving it unselfishly for Christ. So don't sit on your talent. If you are in the university, this is the best place. Let me tell you, if you compare the university church and the home church, are they the same? They are not the same. Home church, we've tried English. There's no Meru, there's no English church in Meru. Have you ever heard of any? You could be the first one. I'm telling you the truth. I've stayed in Meru half your age, most of you. Half your age or more, you can guess. I'm not a Meru, but I've stayed in Meru more than half your lifetime. Yes. Now, we don't have an English-speaking church. We're struggling. Even these colleges, how? Let me not mention names. They will attend their services and challenge you. You will hear somebody speak one word in English, the rest is Swahili broken. Let's continue. So, we are supposed to involve ourselves in many religious or spiritual things that will foster our spiritual growth. Visitation. Let's do visitations unreservedly. Let's read. Some of you have had. There's that person who was seated here who was asked abruptly to give a quote, and it was like the quote was coming out automatically like a memory verse, and even added a memory verse. You are endorsed if you can read, and read spiritual books also. Let us not read only fiction and academic books. Let's also soup it up with spiritual books. They are called spirit of prophecy. Let me ask, how many have ever read? Okay. Yes, how many have ever read a spiritual book? Spirit of prophecy, even the small ones. Like the smallest book I know is called Steps to Christ. It's a very nice book, by the way. It talks about confession, repentance, those nitty-gritties of part of growing in Christ. If you're not able to read volume one of and academic books, you need volume 1 of testimonies to kuna zingine sijaiona. It's personal experience. Kuna zingine sijaiona, sikusa wewe. Kama mimi sijaiona na mimi natoshana hivi na wewe. But some of us, we are endowed with resources, online resources. You may not have seen the physical book, but you've seen the online resources. Let us read. Let us be good readers. Let us ensure that we are able to read. If you are the type who reads and forgets immediately, don't give up. I'm with you there. I said, have you heard me? If you are the type who reads and forgets immediately, don't worry. I'm one of you and I'm still surviving. So don't give up. Continue reading and forgetting, but you will remember a few. But those who can be able to read and say, GC is great controversy. Chapter 10, page number 15, paragraph 2 says, la 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 la. That is your blessing. Thank God for that blessing. There are those who read and sleep along the way. How many have ever read the Great Controversy and you wonder at the Reformation in French Reformation or Revolution? You've ever read such things? Sometimes I ask myself, why do we give outsiders this book? Won't they be born by reading this French Revolution, Sijui Waldensis, Sijui Nini? You know that. Or you are like me. Okay, let's continue. So let's go to social aspects. We've looked at spiritual aspects in a summarized way. My colleague will be giving us more. So let's look at social. Now, social, make friends. First years in the house, say hallelujah. Amen. First years, this is a new environment. Do what? Make friends. Cautiously. Let's say also, cautiously. Choose the friends you make. Don't just okota anybody along the corridor. Unapata kajamaa kona dread, nywele imechanwa, imekaa hivi, mzeme hiyo nataka. Iwe rafiki yangu, ndio hiyo unaanza kuandamana naye. Make a wise decision. Look at attributes of good friends. And also, in a summarized way, just know that some of the friendships, the relationships that we're establishing here are long life, or they can become futuristic. You understand? Graduate, futuristic. Yes, it can be futuristic. It is an investment for future. Let me tell you why. You're in school for 4 years. Okay? You've met a friend in first year or second year. You have not specified which type of a friend. It is just a general friend. This friend, you know what type of food he or she likes. You know which type of game he or she likes. You know which type of dress or trouser he likes. You know the likes and dislikes. Please preserve that friendship. Ensure that contact doesn't get lost. You've known if this is a mangamangaji ama mtangatangaji. You've known in those 4 years. Don't think the friends you left at home are more valuable, because in a span of 4 years, there's a lot of mutation. Yes, there's a lot of mutation. You left your friend with somebody while you were in high school, but the campus he or she went, you don't know at what time she was sleeping or he was sleeping. You don't know where he was sleeping. You don't know where he used to visit. But this one you've met in Meru University of Science and Technology. You've known her in these recent 4 years, and you've seen, like in the past, she was not bad. Hata kama alikuwa mbaya, umeona wokovu ndani yake, kuna spiritual growth. Please sustain that friendship. Ensure that you are a sports person. There is a lot of land here. Make sure you walk around, you run around, you play basketball. Involve yourself in those things. Involve yourself in clubs and societies that would would engage your brain. You know you are young, energetic, and vibrant. And when I say vibrant, it covers all aspects of vibrant of your body. Now, ensure that you are namjeshika hiyo naona na tuendelee. So ensure that you are an active person. Then in the university is the place to learn the art of communication. I've mentioned earlier that the leaders that we are having, the crop of leaders that we have, our constitution says that for you to be an MP, you need rich qualification. I felt yourself in those things. You must have rich academic qualification. That would involve. I don't worry. Here was only constitution. Here again, energetic and vibrant. Degree. MCA, you need to have a what? The lady was like this. The lady was just finished doing something. When I'm brown. Well, the art of communication. Qualification ya MCA ni nini? I know ladies, these things sometimes mnaniangusha. Ladies mnaniangusha. My friend, you said you are also a Bible study lady. Yes, stop kuniangusha. Ukienda colleges zingine unasikia watu wanaongea hivyo, umeniangusha. Yes. For you to be an MCA, what is the minimum qualification? Yes. The allo lady. Hata leo I've got a new vocabulary, allo. I guess the Adventist ladies organization, I think we will introduce that in my church. So that lakini that maybe the younger ones. Certificate. KCSE certificate. Is it true? Let me ask my panelists here, is it true?
For MCA currently in the Constitution, it is any post-secondary training, but a new law was drafted the other day that would require every MCA to have a degree.
Even BBI.
Not necessarily that, but there's a constitutional law that was introduced, I think, in December. Though it has not been successfully approved, people are still challenging it in court.
Okay, right. So, post-secondary qualification. So you must have either a certificate or a diploma or even a degree. So you can imagine, we've had some people who are embarrassing graduates. They stand and they are incomprehensible. They cannot construct a proper sentence. Now, it is your opportunity while in the university to learn how to socialize by proper communication. Now, wacha niwaingilie roho safi. Students, when you are queuing in finance and the students' finance officer is here, do they talk? Now, let me not ask you. You guys, what do you do when you are queuing along on these queues? You talk. What do you do? This is what you do. I observed one of the answers like you. And he didn't know that I was observing him. He was going to the main menu, anateremuka, anapanda, anaguza radio, anafunga, anarudi nyuma, all along. They could move up and down. I usually enjoy first years and tell them, some of the first years, sio nyinyi sasa, you are no longer all the first years freshers proper. That you've been bought a gift by your parents called smartphone because you passed Form 4 and you're going to the campus. So when you are not busy in class, you are still learning the menu. Hiyo mjesikia. Bado unatafuta gallery ni nini? What is setting? Na hii setting iko na nini? Hii storage memory, storage nini? So friends, try to communicate. It is important to have face-to-face communication because it is becoming a rare commodity. It is also important that we have internet. You are born in the generation of internet. I think so. Most of us here who are students, they were born 1999, 2000, 2001, first years. Second years, maybe 1998. Na wale wenye walichelewa kidogo, wenye wako, those who are not able to wanasema kushika rada on time, they repeated some classes. They were born 97, 98. The seniors are not around, so don't worry. I'm talking to first years and second years and a few third years and fourth years. So most of us have been born during the time of internet. If I tell you with my friend when we were in college, I opened my Yahoo account while I was in college. So you can imagine, if I have a Yahoo account, where you have a Yahoo account, do you have yahoo.com? Wewe sasa unajua uko kwa hii category. How many have Yahoo accounts? You see? You come the Gmail accounts. You know, most of us are Gmail accounts, isn't it? Yahoo actually is a bit slow. Now, We are the children of this generation. I don't know, I hear it's called Generation Z or Internet. Why? Something like that. So, internet is there, social media is there. One of my friends will talk more about social media later on. But you will also hear people saying, are you on WhatsApp? I'll send you on WhatsApp. That somebody thinks it's easy to send a message through WhatsApp than SMS. And when you SMS, you say, hi. Where are you? Where are you? It's a long sentence. It's a long sentence. So, Roy and Tobias, if you are written a message saying Uko, just know that you should answer Hapa. Don't or hostel or room. Don't say, oh, I've gone out in town. No. They want short answers. Twitter, Facebook, email, YouTube, all those. Then there is something with the current youth. Even in this church, there's a thing called series. Yes, I hear people saying series. Which series are you watching? My friend. Okay, which is the latest series? No, I'm not saying it's bad. So you just, if you are watching a series, just tell us, educate us, the older generation. Which series are you watching? No kind of a series where Now, who looks like a serious person? Now, let me pick this lady. The two ladies who are talking there. The one with you look like a serious ladies. Which series is trending? No, just tell us. It is part of life, but you need to watch with moderation. I had a friend, I had a student who used to tell me on Friday he watches movies up to Saturday morning. That's Christian life. The whole night watching a movie, which people have acted. So which series is trending, madam? Who looks like a series? No, sorry. Let me leave you. Don't relax. You might be a visitor. And I'm picking on you. You will be like, that chat I'll never go next time. Now, who is the other series guy? Now, there's also this problem or this thing called partying. People are going party. Now, you finished high school. You are under restriction and curfew. Curfew from parents. I want you at home by 6. Especially ladies, 6 on the dot. And if you have very strict parents, you are in trouble. So you have your freedom. You've landed into immense freedom. You don't know how to manage it. And hence, what is happening is that you are invited for a birthday party. Some of us have never done birthday parties, but you come to campus, you hear people do birthday parties, and you are invited for one, and you attend. And in attending, there are so many things I guess that happen in a bash. They call bashes. The other one, the trending word is bash. Been invited for a bash. Speaking of duo, now don't worry, I'm in the other college now. I'm not in the university. I'm in the other college where duo is better understood, not juice. Duo, there's bika, there's what? What do people eat in bash? Chipo. Yes, chipo nowadays you can make your own chipo. You just need mafuta and viazi, and in Meru viazi is available more than some other places, which I will not mention. They know where people come from. Viazi, to get viazi, you have to struggle because it's never grown there and it's very expensive. So people have that opportunity for going for parties. Parties are not bad. We used to have parties. Roy, do you remember our fruit party that lasted the whole night? We ever had a party after Sabbath? We ate fruit the whole night. It's real and real. Now, we have another thing that has come during this generation. During our time, we used to have Kenya Charity Sweepstake, it has even changed the brand nowadays. How many have seen the new brand of Charity Sweepstake? Najua watu wengine hawaoni, hata kama wanaona TV hawaoni. Kenya Charity Sweepstake has rebranded itself. In fact, it is supporting the Olympic team. Hiyo huko unajua, lakini umejua. Betting. There are so many betting groups, betting companies. Some were closed down by Matiang'i. Thank God Matiang'i is happened. One of them is betting. That one is still surviving. No, you don't have to have betted to tell me the names of the betting companies, but they always advertising themselves. You don't know any brand, the dealers, my friend. Betika, yes, lady. Yes, Professor. I can see you are not fans. Your fans. Oh, there are customers of betting here. Is it acceptable spiritually? It isn't it? So, at your own peril. You see now the balance is social betting. People are betting. People are getting money. But spiritually, you are cancelling your spiritual life. There is also, you need also to work in campus. Some people, they come from humble background. Some of us are here courtesy of help. Ukweli ama uongo. Mimi mwenyewe, I started using help. Na unajua nilikuwa mdosi sana. Sasa nimeharibu, I'm spoiling my things. I was so rich that when I go home, I have to go to the shop. When it's time to plow at home, I'm the one to do the plowing. Courtesy of help. By that time, we used to call it chacha. Nowadays, I don't know what you call. What do you call it? It's just help. Yes. So, if you are a help jama, a person relying on help, make sure that you swallow the pride and look for work study. There are opportunities of work study, especially in this institution. Even if it's to clean this classroom, will it break your back? To come and clean this classroom. Don't worry, it is part of your time. It is your time. And you don't know, in that work that you're doing, you might be one day a company owner of these cleaning companies. Do you think these people who do cleaning, their owners are like you or like me? They could be richer than what the speaker said in the morning. They could be richer than our lecturers. I'm not demeaning our lecturers, but I was, okay, for the lecturers, just listen to this. There's a student, a diploma holder, who happened to have been lucky to be employed by Kengen. So the two engineers and another one. It is your time. And you don't know in that work. And another one. There was another lady who was saying to be an engineer. Yes, Kengen, diploma holder, 100. Or like 130,000 or 170,000. Salary per month. That is a dream job. Diploma, not a degree like you. Degree 300,000. Don't worry. If you have opportunities in that company, generating company, jipeleke huko, please apply there. You might be lucky to land to 100 to 300,000. So our engineers, if you have connections which God can provide land there, you'll be settled. You'll not do part-timing anymore, because with 300,000, you'll be relaxed for some time before your lifestyle goes up there and you need 1 million. So you need to work while in campus. Now, in the very campus, we are having the problem of drug abuse. Drug use and abuse. And in the university, we are not even talking about smoking cigarettes or drinking busa. You know, at Adventists, we are disadvantaged sometimes. We don't know these things. Busa, busa. Oh, sorry. Some people know these things. Busa. In the university, you'll find that there are people who have done more heavier drugs. Our sister there called Sister Lydia will tell us which are the heavy drugs that are in the society. And hence you'll find that there's a problem of drug abuse. Maybe one of our friends will tell us more. Drugs that even can be put into your juice as you go for party. Now, relationships in campus, this very campus, because of our age, we are still young. And some of us are just completing adolescence. Some of us are still adolescents. Do you know some of us are still adolescents here? I know you not want to be associated with the adolescent stage, but some of us are still adolescents. Yes, our bodies are still maturing, and we've not reached that maturity, and you know the troubles of adolescence, isn't it? Nobody here will pretend not to have gone through adolescence. No, you will be lying to yourself. So, you know the troubles and the struggles of adolescence. But do we need to let ourselves loose? No, we have to control ourselves. We have to have limits, and maybe somebody will talk later on about it. And we need actually to avoid, to have limits that on relationships that will lead us to premarital sex. This premarital sex, there are some people, let me use this word, wanasema kwani ni sabuni ishe. Wenye wanjera wakaya hapo. Ati sabuni itaisha. But it is not a soap that will itaisha. Lakini, it has an impact on you. You will remain remembering that I have been doing this, and Satan is so good in that. He will always remind you that, do you know that you did this and this when in campus? Alafu, you want to be the head of the women ministry. Alafu, you did this and this. You will always be reminded. Because you know that Christ forgives us and forgets about it. Now, in the very campus, we have a lot of problems with stress. You've just come from campus. There is just back kidogo. There is a lot of stress in the student life. Is it resonating with you? You are a first year. You just come from high school where instructions are supposed to be followed. And I want to give you a challenge. Listen to yourself and listen to fellow students. You will hear most people, my friend here, you will hear most of them say, I have been sent. You say, I have been sent, I have been told. Yes, those two terminologies, I have been sent and I have been told. It's because you have not come from high school mentality. Today I challenge you, come out of high school mentality of being sent to bring. You're taking the assignment to this lecturer and you're telling him, I would not have brought, but I was told to bring the assignment to you, to your office. It is your assignment, but you say, I was told to bring your assignment. High school mentality. Please, jitoya hapo, tafadhali. Please. Or I am asking. No, I've told you. I think it's part of the stress emanating from change of lifestyle. You are used to being sent by the teachers to go and bring books or take books to them. So you come from it and say, I've been sent by the classmates to bring this book. And the teacher will accept. But now, this is a lecture. You're taking your own work and you're telling me, I've been told to bring it. You've landed there. Why don't you say, hey, I've brought my assignment without saying I've been told? A study was done last year. Let's go next. A study was done last year, and it was found that globally, every 5 visits by patients to the doctor, 3 are stress-related problems. In addition, a majority of people with stress have sleeping disorders. Some of us here might be having these symptoms, sleeping disorders, suffer from headaches. You are ever having a headache, you're wondering, what is this headache? I've drank water, I've done everything that can remove the headache, but it's still there. Just know that it's a headache, maybe that it's stress related. You have strained relations with family and friends. you have asking for money, so there is a strange relations, or when you talk to them, you are not in terms. Maybe it could be stress on your part. And also some people have, they are short-tempered. You've had people who are short-tempered. Some of them are genetical. I don't know if it's genetical. I'm using it cautiously because I'm in Meru and it has been discovered that Meru, people are short-tempered. I don't want to talk about other people because wanaweza nikasirikia na wako hapa. That one was written by somebody called Omar. It is a quotation. Now, students in tertiary institutions have equally reported some signs of stress. Studies have shown that the transition of students from high school environment to the university environment causes socio-economic, social, academic, and psychological shock to them. These educational systems largely differ. I've mentioned an example. There are many differences between high school and university. So these students will have problems and between themselves and faculties, the teaching staff. I don't want to talk about other people because wanaweza nikasirikia na wako hapa. Thank you. So you'll find that those problems, even the way university students are taught, how many learned online? How many learned online before they came for face-to-face? Online by show of hands. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How was the experience? How was your experience? I mentioned an example. Assuming you are first year, fresh from high school, I pity those ones. You are fresh from high school, you've been bought for a smartphone, you are still learning the menu. Now you're supposed to use that very phone to learn online. You're supposed to use email, school email, to log in to the Zoom or the other ones. The Zoom and the what? Google Meet or there are many names. Those are social media. Which one are they? Zoom, Google Meet. In Kunele, Tenet, G Suites. You need all those things that you're supposed to. You're told log in there, put your camera on. You don't know how to type. Now you are typing it down. Hata kweli first years wengine waliteseka pole sana. So especially first year undergraduate students in Ghana. This study was done in Ghana. Go through a number of challenges, which they are. Those challenges have made their life not very comfortable, and they need social and institutional support in order to cope with these stresses that are associated with campus life, and therefore they end up that top cream, but they end up doing what? Performing poorly academically. Those who have stress. Some of us here, the preacher was talking about some people who are the best, but they end up not being the best in university. Why? Maybe there were stress-related problems. So you don't become the first-class material. But even if you get a pass, don't worry. There is a space for you. The society needs also people with pass. Engineers are A materials. A minus, Steve Monyancha. What were A na A minus. And if you are lucky to have chosen, to have made the right choice, you get Meru University Engineering, choice number 1 in Form 4 for courses. You might be left with a B+, isn't it? Ama kuna watu wa B- wanafanya engineering. Are there people with B- doing engineering unless you are self-sponsored? Do we have them? We don't have them because of the cluster and the cutoff. They do not allow. So there's a problem with the A material people. Engineers are A material. Yes, it's true. A material people cannot make good high school teachers. They can survive only in the university. But high school, have you had a person who has gotten A taking education? Unless you are unlucky. No, I'm speaking the truth. Unless you are unlucky. And A material will not cope up with high school students. Why? A material processes, the brain processes things very fast. You go repeating at the X plus Y 2x plus y plus 2x plus y plus 5 is equals to 20. Can you make x the subject? How do I make x the subject? Look at this. How can you fail to understand what a simple mathematics? But now if you got a C plus or a B minus or a C, now that is where we belong. You will understand that these are slow, they are those who are slow learners and fast learners. So you go to their level so that they can understand. So you start explaining. You make X the subject by removing this. Now rudisha ile hesabu ya primary. Unasema if it's a plus on this side, when you move it to the equal sign on the other side, it becomes a minus. Unaona mimi hata ninafika hapo. So basically what we are saying is that there are people who have stress, and when you have stress you might not do well, and therefore you don't perform well. Even if you are an A material, you will find that you are not doing well. Now academia, I've just mentioned that there is pressure to acquire knowledge. You are in the university as an Adventist. The society expects you to be a steward. You're supposed to be a good steward. What is your responsibility? We talked about having, we've been called for a purpose. Your purpose in must or must is to acquire knowledge. And this acquisition of knowledge is that you can be able, we are training the youth, or the society is training you as a youth, so that you can be thinker. Please, just know that the society expects you to be a thinker. When you stand in front of people, the society expects you to be a thinker. The preacher was standing here actually, or somewhere here, when he said that, unakuja unauliza mzee, maoni yako ni gani? When you're a university student, when you go to the village, or you go to the estate where you stay, people will ask you, and what is your opinion over this? Please don't let down the society, because the society expects more from you. But if you're just like a grad university student, when you contribute anything substantial, people will mock you and say, we're a university student, not as you kuongea. And when you came here, you are ever on phone. You never learned how to communicate. They want to hear good flowing English. They want to hear good flowing Kiswahili. Kiswahili sanifu, ambacho kinaeleweka, ambacho kimepangwa kulingana na sheria. Walimu wako hapa wa Kiswahili tafadhali, wana fonolojia inayostahili, matamshi mwafaka. Yes, wamesoma hayo yote, phonetics and phonology. Now, let us not just use other people's ideas. So we need to be also the sources of truth. And that one has been written by an author called YTG. I will interchange so that when you are first years, by the way, you need to cite. If you've quoted somebody's work, you need to acknowledge by citing. I am acknowledging that lady. It's called YTG, then in brackets you put the year of publication, and also if you have used direct quotes, you put the page numbers. I've taken you to class. Anyway, we are talking about academy or academia. Pressure to attain good grades. Everybody expects you to pass, even if you're doing engineering or medicine or pharmacy or clinical medicine or nursing, those courses that are feared to be hard. But Peleko class in theology, you might think Bachelor of Arts in theology is cheap. Peleko your class is when you will discover that it is not cheap. You know, those who are doing anthropology, the Bachelor of Arts in this university are courses like the lady in blue. Courses in Bachelor of Arts are like, and also if you have used do you have geography? I had somebody say BSc chemistry. He's studying BSc chemistry. Now, chemistry is known to be hard. Molarity, moles, those are the problematic things in high school. ama ni aje huyo mtu wa BSc chemistry yako wapi? Alienda, is not with us. So Bachelor of Arts in Geography, Bachelor of Arts in history. You might think that's history. Vasco da Gama came to Kenya in 17 what? Those ones, my friend. Go to that class, you will discover it's not about that one. And you might fail it. In fact, engineers, do we have engineering students here? By show of hands, in humility. Engineering students, by show of hands, in humility. You know engineering students walk straight. Miguu ikuwe imeshikana. Am I speaking the truth? They walk in a style. They don't just walk shagala. These are Bachelor of Arts, we can walk anyhow. But in engineering students, they walk straight. So, even if you are doing Bachelor of Arts in Geography, the society expects you to pass, not to get a supplementary exam. The university, the society doesn't expect somebody who got A and doing engineering to get a referral to repeat a whole year. But does it happen? It happens. The A materials, they fail, they repeat, because also maybe their level of examination is high, the cognitive level. Now, in this hall, are there education students? By show of hands, don't fear, you're going to teach our children. Show of hands, walimu actually is a noble profession, because in the society, the teacher is the most enlightened person in the society. Some of engineers here and doctors that we are having here, their parents were teachers. Those are the people who saw light before the others. So, we expect, cognitive levels, You've learned. But anyway, I will excuse your first years. Maybe you've not done psychology. We have cognitive levels. There are states. State 3 factors that led to Maji rebellion. These are the low levels. But at high levels, we are talking about discuss. Anyway, so the university expects, you are expected as a graduate to make sure that you pass, whether the course is cheap or hard as per the society. You also expected to use internet for your study. We no longer rely on the hard copy books, but we have online resources. You are Giga or Nginga? Giga or Nginga? Giga. Giga will tell you about online resources. You need to have an account in the library. You don't need to, you don't necessarily need to visit the library for physical materials, but you can also access online resources. As adventists, we are expected to use the online resources in the internet. Make sure that you pass. Now, just to mention, how do we balance all these things? You need to have personal discipline. But you have to be disciplined at personal level, because you are not under anybody who disciplines you, to watch over you. Your parent is not here, your lecturers do not follow you up. So, and I've liked one thing. When I look around, I see most of the students here are disciplined. You don't have the weird looks. You know the weird looks. You wonder, is this a university student or a chokora who was dressed in clean clothes? Yes. Sometimes if you are shaggy, you would wonder, chokora amefanyiwa rehabilitation ama ni nini? Please, you need to be disciplined. That is what is expected of you as a society. Be focused, have clear objectives, and when you have clear objectives, you will manage so many things. We are talking about a management that for us to succeed in life, for us to balance social life, spiritual life, and academia or academics, then you need to have plans for studies for all those activities, and this can be achieved by time management. How many are more than 2 singing groups in this congregation? More than 2 singing groups in this congregation. 1, is your hand up or yes? 3, where is singing group? Wewe.
manage so many things.
Yes, wewe.
We are talking about a management. That for us,
Two. I hear that people can be even in 4 singing groups. So Monday singing group, Tuesday singing group, Wednesday singing group, Friday singing group, Sunday washing clothes. Now, such people are wonderful timekeepers, and in class they don't fail. If you know you have a weakness, don't be in all the singing groups. Be the congregation in one of the singing groups of some amen. Please. Please. Because if you are not a good time manager in the university, you will not make it. There are many activities in the university. Then you also need to live.
I hear that people can be even in 4 singing groups.
With the other people. In this room, we are bound together by belief that we are waiting for the second coming of Christ. That one brings us together. We are bound by the Bible. We believe the Bible, and the way we interpret it is nearly uniform. But even in the interpretation of the Bible, if it was the normal Bible study, you would hear this one says this, this one says this one says this. So be ready to have the ability to live harmoniously with the divergent views and divergent lifestyles. Even the 3 aspects of life, they are divergent. They are not together. Sometimes they are conflicting. You'll find that if you're too much on social, you are likely to lose on the 2, the spiritual and the academic. But if you elevate the academic and the spiritual, social will automatically fix itself along the way. Now, so let's learn to live with people with the divergent views, financial management. Some of us will talk about the management of our finances, in as much as they are meager or they are endowed. Here we have very rich children or students from very rich backgrounds, very rich. But we also have the extreme ones. Please, if you are very rich, when you hear, I saw a name in the morning that was flashing there, you might not know that people suffer. If you have, just give, because God has not allowed you to go through what they are going through. Because there are people, I have some money. Sorry, I nearly went to somebody. Somebody dropped money, and this money can take somebody a whole week or meal. Especially those with meager resources. So you dropped your money. Students from very rich, see me. So check your pockets. If you dropped, see me. So ensure that you manage your resources to ensure that you have accommodation. Don't live in somebody's house if you have not paid. Ensure that when you get money, pay the rent, buy your food, pay your electricity, water if you are paying for water. Ensure that you give tithe and offerings. Ensure that you have money for your transportation, so that you don't beg too much when you should have planned for your money, and you're begging somebody who has planned or who has done financial management on his or hers. So ensure that you are well managed in terms as a university student, because soon you are going to have your own family. No, you know nowadays people. There's a lady, I think she's heading to 30 years, or she's 30 years. I asked her last year why she was not married. She told me the men that are nowadays available are the hit and run men. So they are the hit and run men, and they don't want responsibilities. They want to visit the lady's house and sleep there. The following day they go. So the lady will organize everything. Maybe even the ladies nowadays are hit and run. I don't know. Maybe you might be heading there. You know, there's a lot of generational changes. Please, if you're planning to have a family, you need to learn how to manage your finances in in advance so that when you get to your family, you are able to manage your finances. I think I'm nearly ending so that I open up for my colleagues to talk about the issues that I've mentioned. And I want to appreciate your time that you've given unto me. And therefore, that is the little that I had. And I have very able people here. I would like to invite them to add on what their personal experiences, what they've had, what they've seen, and what they think might work for you. And if you have an issue, you can also ask. We can try to put our heads together and try to look for an alternative or a means that can help us to have a balanced Christian in the Meru University of Science and Technology. So thank you very much, and let me welcome our moderator to take over from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elder. Let us rise. Chorus account. We are singing 129 powerfully.
We still request for the Holy Spirit to please guide us, no Father. And let the Holy Spirit guide us each and every passing moment, Father, as we keep on sharing. Be with us and help us to learn through the name of God.
wonderful presentation. That was so powerful. We are almost concluded. We are almost concluding the session, but at this time, I'll give the panelists just some brief moments to share experience. And as they will be doing that, should there be a question among you, if any of you have a question as they will be presenting, you can forward, you can write a note, then you forward. So that is okay. Tuko pamoja, lakini sio pamoja in charge, eh? Yes. So, that was so powerful. Friendship. We were told we need to make friends. Sindio? Do you have friends? You have friends? Okay, thank you. Melvin, do you have friends? You have friends? And that's good. All of us are friends. And I don't know the criteria you used to, but I know we have friends. And I like a sentence or a statement he made. He said, those friendships can be futuristic. Yes. Right? Yes, those friendships can be well preserved, well maintained, and then they develop into a big future thing. Elder Sinikwele. Sure, eh? Oh, very good. Now, Elder Roy. Roy? Yes. How can my young brothers and sisters who are like friends and they are aiming at becoming a family, so how can they keep their friendship pure, glorifying God in this kind of friendship? Maybe you want to add something on that, and then kama kuna mwingine ataka kuongeza, you can. Yes. Sure.
Happy Sabbath. Thank you, our brother, for the wonderful presentation. He has tackled basically every aspect of life. You are listening keenly. This record is dead. You will remember in 10 years to come. Because what he has touched on is basically what we face day in, day out. Even currently, in our age, we face some of the challenges we are applying. But brother has talked about relationships, and well, I know I don't talk much, so I'll be very, I will prove for you realize. So, let your friendships be valued, friendships that add value. You know that's how I would like to summarize. Let it be a friendship that adds value. With that friendship, whether current or futuristic does not add value, please reconsider it. Let it add value. What do I mean by saying this? For example, back where I work, there was a case where a young man being computer science, very promising young man, was in a relationship, a friendship with the girl, the same institution. That's how I would like to summarize. Then he happened to have fallen one of the areas Elder mentioned. Many people did not know that he was abusing drugs. And I'm sure that is the current situation. Even amongst us, we could have people who are abusing drugs silently. And you know what? Nobody will know. It's just a matter of you and your God. These things are happening in our rooms, in our hostel, and nobody will know. People are sniffing cocaine. They have gone for the hard drug. This young man one day decided to visit the lady. And because he didn't find the lady, many people did not know in her room. I'm sure you are reacted, tried calling her. Where are you? You're not in your room. I need to see you. And you know what? And because of the way he was talking, the lady said, I may not see you now. You need to calm down. These things are happening in our room. Finally, they met along the corridors of the hostel. And this man became a bit violent. This lady had to be protected by her friend. Security was called in. The next thing, this young man unfortunately committed suicide over that small bit. You think that kind of friendship, the friendship that adds value? And then, is that how you're supposed to react? I'm talking to men. You call them boy child. Boy child has now is under threat. Be a man. You must be a man. Don't act out of the influence of drugs. Let your relationships add value. If you approach a lady and she is saying no, move on. Please move on, because you see, there's more to life. Focus on your goal. Chase your goals. Don't chase things that may distract you from attaining your goal. And you see, this young man is focused on his goal. His first calling. The picture talked about your calling. What is your calling? To do computer science, to do engineering, to do education. Make that your focus. The added value your friendship comes along. Thank God. And my brother Kikono will tell you, I call him Kip, because that's the name we used to call him. If you look around, the ratio here is very fair. He will tell you, I don't know whether you got me, maybe you did not. The ratio is fair. During our time, from attaining your goal. But you see, this young man, well, how many for? By the time we were clearing, around 25 or something. Out of the 25, there was one leader who was a lady, one or two. So men, during our time, had challenges. Because you had to do a lot more. Current men, the work is a lot easier. Don't delve into things that will lead you astray from your calling. First Peter, 2 Peter 1 and verse 10. Let me just read that. Somebody can read it. Second Peter 1, 10.
Rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling election. For if you do these things, you shall never fall.
That's what the preacher was talking about. Now that you have found your calling, do due diligence. These things will come. As you focus on Christ, all these things will be added unto you. These are the friendships we are talking about. Let your friendships add value. I'll tell you, I marched in Jim's wedding. I was one of the, call them the men. One of the pair. This is a marching squad. I marched in his wedding. That's a friendship that adds value. He was my best man. Friendship that adds value. When you're coming out of here, I expect friendship that adds value. Don't just be here. Don't just get past that. Make your friendship add value. And as you do that, these things will come. First Peter tells us, we will not fall. Do due diligence. Before they hire somebody to work, they tell the HR, carry out due diligence. It means they're going to carry out, look at your background. Have you been to committee? Are you running away from the SDA? Things like that. So do due diligence. When you are here, as a Christian, due diligence involves Bible study, it involves singing, it involves doing your study. That is due diligence. It will make sure that you will not fall. I have a friend, first Peter tells us knows him, it's called David. He was asking how many are in singing group. Since your hand for somebody with more than 4 singing groups. David was in 6. He was a choir conductor. That time he was in choir. And then he got a first class. I was not in any singing group. I did not get a first class. So how do you plan your time? Just not sure you embrace university education as a whole and focus on Christ. Issues of relationship, just make sure you do not do that which is forbidden. Because I may not elaborate what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. We will live here forever. Because the do's and don'ts depend on what guides you. If it is this word that guides you, then you automatically know what you're supposed to do. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Someone maybe want to add? Okay. I want to make another question that is brought forward related to this matter here. There are different personalities, and this one specifically is addressing the case of introverts. The question is, can introverts also balance their social life with the spiritual and academic? Introverts ni wale hawaongei, wale wananyamazanga sana. So he is asking, the question is, can they also balance their social life with these other aspects? This matter here. There are different personalities, and this one specifically is addressing the case of introverts. The question is, can introverts also balance every day social life with
I think the introverts can also
academic?
balance their social life.
Introverts
As
ni
in,
wale hawaongei, wale
by joining
wananyamazanga sana. So he is asking,
let's say,
the question is, can
work
they
study
also
groups,
balance
and doing
their
work study groups.
social life
From there, they can make friends
these other
and be able to know some characters of some personalities, and they can.
Thank you. So you want to add something? Evelyn, Evelyn, where do you categorize yourself? Are you an extrovert or an introvert? Or you are both. It depends on the context. You are an extrovert. Suppose you have a brother that is an introvert now. You want to help them also balance their social life.
Characters of some personalities.
Thank you.
Talking about introverts, how can introverts balance life? So, if you are an introvert, you in campus, there is a part where you socialize, If you socialize, how will you socialize with an introvert? In other words, you have to, at one point in time, you have to communicate with someone, because there is where you learn how to speak to others. Is it true? You were told that you learn how to communicate here. If you pass here without knowing how to communicate, how will you do it? So I think if you are an introvert, this is your chance.
Thank you, Evelyn. From the congregation, someone, I can see Vivian want to say something. Vivian?
Yes, praise God. Yes, I also want to second what they have said, that even introverts, they can be balanced introverts. Because be told that there's a song that says, even if you don't know or you don't have what to do, you can tell the love of Jesus. There is so much that Christ has done for you, and if you are burning within with that joy, you will not be able to keep silent. You'll always want to make that person next to you to know about this Christ who has done so much for you. And another thing, when you now come to this other side of social life, you will not say that introverts now will never get married because they are silent. And if they never find a spouse, why not talk to Jesus? Why not talk to that other friend? Yes.
Thank you, Vivian. A script like that, give that mic to Vincent, and then we will close that aspect.
God is good.
All the time.
All the time. I'll start from this angle. There are some characters or virtues like that comes as a result of maybe background, neglect of duty, or ignorance. I would take that the character of introverts to be one. And this is what I would say, because, for example, let's take somebody who just likes to keep silent, involved in or herself with people. Today, I'm called to meet outside and allowed from meeting inside. And then when that announcement is made, you find somebody just walks, is not joining either Alo if she's a lady, he is not joining Amo when he's a man. He just walks out that way. I believe that when you join such organization, for example, tomorrow morning, we'll be having a breakfast. And people have come with ugali, people have come with some things, and I believe when kinds of ugali has been put on the table, the red one, the yellow one, the white one, the greens and everything comes across, somebody will make fun out of that thing. People will start to make jokes. Then if you're somebody who never smiles, you will make a smile. Now what would kumbe such a person speaks? From that point, I believe that a talk begins. So I believe if you are such a person who doesn't maybe socialize, likes to be so silent, try push yourself to involve yourself in such thing, and then you will learn. I'm one of the examples. I joined the university when many people looked at me as somebody who don't involve himself, don't talk, and was always furious, until I joined a group. That group, the Springs Ministers. If you look at them when they're in the field, they're not a ministry. They joke a lot, they laugh. And then I trained to speak when I was with them. So involve yourself, don't neglect the opportunity you have to be with people. Then background aspect also plays a role. But we learned throughout the week, we looked at the issue of Esther. Natukambiwa, the past does not dictate the future. Utilize what we have currently and make best towards the positive of what we have. Thank you.
Pass that to Brother Busiri, and think we are closing at that.
Happy Sabbath, happy day. I want to comment on two things. The first thing is about relationships. I would like somebody to read from the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 7, chapter 3, verses 5. And while we are looking for those verses, there is one question I think is in the New Testament that is asked, can two walk together unless they agree? Can they walk together unless they agree? So you must agree with that person that you're working with. So in the aspect of relationship, the first thing you should know is that your friend is a reflection of your character. So, one message does your friend there? Is he or she a friend that portrays your character? Because you know, character should be like the only mirror that your friend should carry for you, nothing else. So, can somebody read those two verses, please? Of course, they speak the same thing, but someone can read it. Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 7 and 3, verses 5. Yes? That's what I wanted to speak of. Sometimes you're in campus, you want to rush things, you want to awaken love, yet in all honesty, we are not ready to get married. We are not ready. We are not ready, friends. Are we together? Ama mko tayari? Mimi nilimaliza university almost 5 years ago, and I still feel like I'm not yet ready. You see, the reason being, I'm being honest, the reason being, the things you see, there are weaknesses you see in yourself. You know, when you're honest with yourself, you always see the weaknesses. Yeah? Today morning we heard about the story of Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old. Then the parents, yeah, so that their son indeed now was ready for marriage. Let's not think of love as something that because of we are of age and we are ready. There are so many things that we need to fulfill before we get married. And that one aspect of it is financial ability. As a man, are you able to provide? Because you know you aren't going to eat love at the end of the day. Another thing is, are you stable in your decision making process? Are you stable? Because yes, you can say you love her, yes. So what? They show your vision and so many other things. And another thing I wanted to speak of is about an introvert. If you go to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, we realize that as human beings, we are social beings. Because when after God created all things and he created Adam, then Adam realized that I can see all these animals, they are in pairs. But me, there's no one I'm going to speak to. You see, so as much as we are trying to classify people in terms of how they behave, I believe the original intention of God was that we human beings could be able to socialize. And yes, sometimes people behave the way they behave because of their past experiences, because maybe they were shunned. You know, people have self-esteem issues, yeah? Sometimes it's because at home they were being harassed, so they decided that I'll keep myself all my problems. See, inequality. But again, in campus, there's no anybody who's better than the other. As much as they will be grading us, the fact is, at the end of the 4 years, if you graduate, then all of you qualify, regardless of what you qualified with. The thing is, you studied the same syllabus and you qualified. So, as we are here in campus, let's learn to understand or to believe that we are not low-class people. And God doesn't expect us to be low-class people. He wants us to be high-class people. People who can respond to their emotions, to their thoughts, and actually today morning I was thinking of I really told my God, thank you, because I can defend what I believe. I can argue, I can talk. Yeah? And I was an introvert because at home I had this father whom you could not speak to, like, alikuwa akisema hiyo ni sheria. So I grew up like, Dad amesema ni sawa. So I never used to talk. But when I got to campus, I realized that I need to talk, or else somebody will talk for me. For introverts, if you don't talk, if you don't make friends, And by making friends, you can join a group, as Madam said, in your class discussions. That's the best place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. We all agree that we are created to be social beings. So even introverts live socially they have. They cannot aspect that aspect. They have to associate with people. Who is it that just want to live in an island? Is there any island that you live and now you don't want to associate with others? It is not. So if it is a challenge, God can help you overcome if you want to. Well, I want to ask who? Atani. Yes, Atani. You are a student, or you are still a student? Huh? Are you a student or you are a student?
I was a student.
You are a student. Okay. One resource that is shareable universally by anyone is time. Time is given to all of us equally. Si ni kweli? Yes. Hakuna mwenye jua yake ina rise saa 3. Ikia rise ni wote. Then we have 24 hours because we live in this other part of the planet. Now, as a student, there are various an array of issues that you need to attend to. The choir practice is waiting for you there on Sunday and Thursday, Tuesday. Then maybe you have singing groups. Like I know you have singing group, Elder. And then there is a group discussion waiting for you somewhere, right? There's an assignment you need to attend to. You need to have some time for personal study. You also need to have time for friends, so that you don't stay like, you don't feel challenged like an introvert. Evelyn, how do I maintain and manage, balance all these issues with the limited time that I have? But you will respond, You will respond. Evelyn first.
Thank you. I believe from the Bible, if you read Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, it says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So there is time for everything. So I believe if you are that kind of a person who is social, you always find yourself, you are in church choir, you even find yourself, you're in 3 groups, you're singing there. You want to socialize, you want to study, you want to also do your spiritual work, and this one will make you a whole-round being.
Yes.
So the first thing that you should ask yourself now, how do I balance all these things? Because if you do one too much, it will make others not to be done well. For example, if you are here in church, is it true? And you want to participate here, you want to lead people, all that. If you ignore your classwork, you'll find that you'll be best here, but you will be down there. Is it true? So I think we should learn how to balance all these things. Are we together? For example, create your time well. We are stewards of time. Is it true? And we are being told that you have to be accountable for every time you spend in idleness. Is it true? So now balance your time well. The first thing that I might say is that spare your time, divide your time, when to talk to God, when to do the service of God, and when you have to do the classwork too, because all of us, we are expected. Our speaker said that all of us are expected. The society is expecting us to pass. Is it true? You can't come here in campus, you passed well, and then you go back with a pass. It will be a disgrace to them. It's only that they won't show you that it is bad to them. So what is required is this: manage your time well. Plan well. When you plan well, everything will be a success. But when you don't plan, it will always be a failure. Divide your time well. If it is time for choir, go for choir. If it is time for study the Bible, come for Bible studies. If it is time to do the classwork, do not neglect the other side. Are we together? So all these things should go hand in hand, because if they don't go hand in hand, there is where you come back for retakes, and that is so bad. As a Christian, we always ought to be the head and not the tail. So don't make us be a tail. Don't be how much tail we can be. Please just try to show them that we are the head. Are we together? So, and another thing, I believe there are some people that engineer so much in watching football, go for that, playing all that. So even if you are that person who cheer people that are running on a television, you also have to balance your time well. In the morning we were in lesson discussion, and you are being told that what do you make your idol? For example, there are some people that spare the afternoon hours that should be spent in Sabbath, they go watch the game. Is it true?
Even Leo, I know some have left the congregation, they are watching. Yes.
Imagine if the time that should be meant to serve the Lord is used to do other things, that thing become your idol. Are we together? So if it is God's time, do it for God's purpose. Are we together?
Thank you.
Do not live here. You go watch people running on a television and kicking a plastic ball.
All right. Okay.
Are we together? So just manage your time well. And so let us just try to be good stewards of time. Manage your time well. Divide each and every proportion so that you balance the classwork, and you balance the spiritual work, and you balance the social life. Are we together?
So I need to have a personal timetable, whether written or not written, so that I know at this point I should be attending to this, then after this, this one, after this, another one.
And that is the reason why even when you come to church, the head of the choir, there is time for going for choir. Is it true? Now you go for choir, you finish with that, you go back to another thing. You don't waste time, because we are being told you have to be accountable for every time you waste. Okay. So be a good steward of time.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. I think that has been exhausted. Attorney was to answer this question. Suppose I forgo other work like my academic work, so that Mimi, the church and church activities only. Because see, I'm working for God, so God will work for me. You forgo assignments, you pray so that God does miracle. Attend.
Happy Sabbath, happy day. Concerning that, you know, you are told that you reap what you have sown, and you cannot expect to have a first class because and uzipata first class ka hujasoma. You have to read, sindio? And God tells us that we are told, if you read the book of Jude, it says that to him who is able to keep you from falling. So there is what we call possibility and capability. Capability belongs to God. But also in our possibility, you have to do something in order God to add to you, because also God says that seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, then the rest I shall add unto you. So there is the aspect of me doing something, then God does something, then again God will take you to that excellence in which you require. And also the perfect example we have is Christ. If you read the book of Luke chapter 1, Luke chapter 2 verse 52, we see how Christ was growing. We are told that, and Jesus increased in wisdom, stature, and in favor with God and man. So we see he was all around balanced in his ministry work and all those things, because you are also told that he was the son of a carpenter. Yes, he used to do that work. So there was time for that, and also time for everything. That's why you can hear him say, my time is not yet come for me to do this. We see also Christ had to work with the principle of time. And one of the is it, how do I phrase this? That one of the ile kitu ambayo Mungu atatuhukumu sana nayo ni time, how we spend our time. And our sister read us in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3, there's time for everything. Yes. And for you to get that, we have to know how to spend our time. Don't wait for something to happen, then you start to plan how to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You be proactive.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bless you.
Amen. I think that one is exhausted. The last aspect that I would want us to briefly share as we leave. Today, in this generation, I believe, or maybe if not now, but in a little while, access to internet is going to be part of our basic need. Is it true? Comrades, No, now this one on the side of comrades. Wakati hakuna internet, right? Wakati hakuna internet, alafu wakati lecturer anakosa kuingia on time, he delays to arrive. So which one is worse to you? Of course I know, Yes, I know the internet, Wi-Fi. Wakati hakuna Wi-Fi, that is disaster. In fact, people can even be excited very fast to gang up for the rights. So internet, we know, is a good resource and it's an important resource. But we abuse it. Is there a responsive way we can use this important resource? I want a few reactions. Responsible use of internet. Yes. Is David? Yes. The one that killed Goliath.
Praise God. You have asked the question on internet, and I would like to speak on in the direction of information. There's a lot of information over the internet. Yes. And you realize that most of our youth, they go to YouTube maybe, or to Google, maybe about only the things that concern their academic life. Maybe I'm doing engineering. I want to only look at things concerning calculus, linear algebra, mechanics, thermodynamics, or other such things. But there's, now outside what you do academically, there's time that is left, and you still spend it on internet, outside what you study as your academic concern. So what do you look at when you're not looking at your academic knowledge. I would like to say that if I start asking here, most of our members in the congregation, maybe what is the price of Bitcoin as at now? Or even most of us don't know what is Bitcoin. Some of us don't know what is real estate. Some of us don't know what happened in the computer science world, what happened in the business world. You will realize that apart from your academic excellence that your family expects or your friends expect, they also expect you to have money after campus. And that money is found in the internet still, because there is a lot of knowledge in the internet outside what you study, and maybe you need it at some point. You will go for an interview maybe, and they will ask you, what do you know about this? What do you know about this? Yes, we know that you have done nothing. But what do you know about this? They want to know how much you know about the world. Because you will agree with me that in the 21st century, we need people who are maybe innovative, and people who have a wide mind, and the people who have a straight mindset towards achieving. I will end by saying that Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. He says that to him, when he's interviewing people, he does not look for a campus degree to employ them. He looks for a proof of exceptional ability. Proof of exceptional ability. And being in campus is not a proof of exceptional ability. There are so many people who are bright, but they never went to campus and they can innovate. So even as you are in campus, think about your exceptional abilities that you can start with, that can distinguish you from maybe any other person that you are in the same level academically with, or in the same level as per age. Wisdom is not defined by age, but by knowledge and fundamental character. Okay. So, thank you so much. Have a nice time.
Amen. Thank you. Someone? Yes.
I'd also like to speak in technology.
Okay.
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. I would like to say something about internet. And it is one of the most useful resources we have right now. But it will now depend on how we use it.
Yes.
It has got disadvantages and advantages. And the internet has, to its advantages, you can get knowledge out of it. And what the knowledge which you can get out of it, you can derive business opportunities through the internet. You can spread the word of God through the internet. You can do several things and make it a good way of gaining something. Okay. But then again, there's something that if you do with it, makes it to be a bad resource. Like, you can use internet to download some movies which will never help you in your life. I may not be in a position of naming them, but I think I'm saying that you will be understanding it. So it is only that if you base your mind that I want to achieve this through internet, then you will achieve it. But you will achieve it if you have a positive attitude towards what you want to do with it.
Thank you. In less than 2 minutes, speak.
Thank you so much. In technology, there's a lot. And today, if you don't have internet connection, you will feel that you're a failure.
Remember, he's giving an expert point of view. Yes?
I'm a volunteer worker here.
It's okay.
I'm working in a multimedia lab, master's and PhD lab. I have a regular customer. When he gets inside there, there's a specific computer.
Yes.
He will sit.
Yes.
Because he has realized that that computer, the internet connected there, is very high. So he will come and sit specifically to that computer. So one day I was studying, I disconnected the internet. So intentionally I disconnected. He never looked for any computer, just walked out and he was annoyed, and he could keep on visiting when the internet has come back in that computer. But I'm sitting in the bike, I sit behind. So I'm studying whatever he's doing. You have several tabs open. He will be in YouTube, he's in Facebook, he has connected the computer to WhatsApp, he's in Instagram, and he's doing a research. All those at a time.
Yes.
So when something has cracked his head, he will run to Facebook, he will switch to WhatsApp. So that's the kind of life you will be saying up to maybe when a class will call. If there is no class, I'll just say that I'll be going for lunch, I want to lock the door. That's when he will be walking away. Exactly 2. When he doesn't have class, he's waiting for me there. So, internet, in other way around, it can be addictive.
Very true.
Addictive. And if you are addicted to internet, you are doomed. Let me just tell you the blank point. You are doomed. If you are addicted to internet, because health-wise, you will be ever on your screen. Is that healthy for you? No. Number 2, there's nothing which you will allow to challenge you. If there is anything that you feel like it's almost challenging you, internet is there for you. Today they are calling it Professor Google. Professor Google has everything for you. The one you like, Professor Google has it. So it is so addictive, and better you be addicted reading something positive. Mimi saa zingine nakuwa na internet mpaka nakosa kitu ya kufanya nayo. Why? Because I know, even if you, let me just say this, even if you visit a professional website, there are those ads which are very tempting. They will never fly. Yes. Like if you visit Google, your Gmail, the ads like betting sites, they will be there. You like it or not, even in your own phone.
Yes.
Have you ever visited Google? The ads will be there. So internet, if you are, I just wanted to talk about in the part of being addicted.
Oh.
If you are addicted to that internet, you are, I don't know how to describe.
Thank you. So now, what's the remedy? I think I'm giving Anne to talk about that one at last. So what's the remedy? Someone that is addicted to internet and social media and what have you, all his or her time spends there. She does not even sleep. Yeye anaangalia nani amecomment kwa picha yangu, nani amekunini. What do we do? Yes.
Internet has made most of us even not to think. We are not thinking. In this context, as students, maybe you are given an assignment. Now, what you do, you go and actually copy and paste.
From Professor Google.
Yeah. You even forget to delete the that link, which is in blue. And then you take that assignment to the lecturer to mark for you, and you expect marks. Honestly, internet is very good to give us information, but we need to filter exactly what we want from it, because there is so much in the internet. I think you can even Google. You can Google the name and you can explain the type of the person you expect from the name and yeah. So internet is good. We use it, but can we filter and do what we want and avoid? I mean, yeah, you know what is not necessary for us. And then if maybe you've been given an assignment, okay, Google, that's okay. It can assist you. But give also your views to convince the lecturer that you are not now informed. For you are a university student, you can see an issue and tackle it according to your view. Not, remember what is in the internet is somebody's work. Yeah? So, lakini na wewe pia chip in, come up with your own views. Okay? You try to convince the lecturer that I really understand this issue. Because if you copy and paste, that's actually someone's work you have pasted. You wrote anything about the assignment you were given, about the topic you were given.
Thank you so much. Pass that mark to Tobias. What's the remedy and maybe general comment as we close? Yes. Happy Sabbath, happy day, happy Sabbath with good news.
Time is so much spent, and I think we've discussed a lot of things.
Yes.
What do you want me to talk about?
What do you want him to talk about? Maybe, hey, Kevin, what do you want me to talk about? You comment about relationships.
Relationships. I'm not a professional in that area, but I've heard what my fellow panelists have talked about, including God's time is right.
Yes.
Can we wait until that time comes? Let us read the book of 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 6.
One 6 of 2 Peter, the Bible says, and to knowledge, temperance, and temperance, patience, and patience, godliness.
Can we emulate those three attributes? Self-control, that is temperance, that version, patience, and godliness. If you emulate the three, I think you are good to go in that area of relationship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other issue?
I think you can, because I heard you working in innovation and research, and you use technology. You're the people using technology in the right way. Maybe let me say that. Now, connection between the research and technology. Can there be a research without technology today?
Can there be research without technology?
Today.
Today, we are fully and completely using internet for our research. You don't go to library nowadays. So technology is needed. Completely research, yeah.
So I think you can advise us, instead of using technology in wrong way, you can invite us to use it in right ways, maybe to do the research.
Okay, by the way, this building was raised here for you students, so that we welcome your innovations. You may put us there when we should be working for you. Those innovations, whatever you read in internet, you want to innovate, maybe how we can breathe your own air, maybe invent your own oxygen. Invent something, that is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can invent what God brought, but invent something, put it at some work. Let us do work in that building. Let it not lie fallow there without anything. Use internet constructively.
We may not exhaust everything in a sitting. And we have not given absolute standards, but we have given insights, advice, and counsel. let not be sufficient for you. You also need to do your research. Sindio, let us continue doing due diligence, continue digging and finding onto what God wants us. As Evelyn is commenting on the last thing, I wanted to add on something. There is an aspect of networking. Networking is simply having contact with others. You, as a student, various opportunities and forums that we make, we need to utilize them well. From those little contacts, from those little interactions, from various with various people that we meet, maybe from one or two of that's where maybe you will find your help someday. So we don't need to just close our minds, close ourselves within the confines that you only want to associate or know your roommates, maybe your homemates, who may go to university, but you still want to just limit yourself within, with the friendship of your home area. We have this opportunity to utilize. Amen? And then we have also learned that each of us have a purpose in life, and we've seen that our calling can only be identified if we depend and trust fully in the Lord. Amen? So I want Evelyn to make the last comment. You have a question? Maybe you will give it, but we'll answer it later. Okay, I hope it's the last. Kuna mwingine ako na burning issue. Maybe you can bring more questions. Some of them will attend to privately after the session. You will meet us, we'll give further insight. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to ask you this question to get an understanding. I'm not attacking any specific group of people. I need to make that statement clear. We have spoken much of net and the internet and everything. And somebody asked me this question, is a member of my family that I was given. There is this, what we call online writing. And where you do for somebody research, ama unafanyia mtu assignment, maybe person abroad, ama person within, you do everything, you write the reference, and then you send to maybe the authorized organization, anakutumia the logins and everything, and then you send for him. You know, it's not even him who sends. Then when the assignment is proved, the person pays you. Ama you submit to him, then he will be submitting the work. So my question is this not cheating as any other exam we may sit down, and then biblically or spiritually, it accepted? Should we continue on the same?
Thank you.
Or where do we categorize this?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know Jen, you will respond on that. Even if you've not raised your hand, from the congregation, kuna mwingine anataka kuongelea hiyo? Maybe you want to comment on that? I need any other. Mwingine? I'm only seeing David and Manason. Kuna mwingine anataka comment? Renson? Okay, so Elder will talk. Elder Geoffrey. Who is taking the mic there? Pacha David and Zebas. And you, in 1 minute, in 1 minute.
Okay, I will say that that is outright cheating, and it's not acceptable. And that's maybe one of the reasons why university education these days is being downgraded or looked down upon, because some of the employers look at such things and they know that they happen. So just be honest, don't look for such work, because according to me it is sin before God.
Thank you. Thank you. Pass to Kosire. 1 minute.
Happy Sabbath. Happy day. Let me say this. Online writing is categorized in 2 categories. There is article writing and academic writing. What you have spoken about is academic writing,
yes,
which is outright cheating. But article writing is professional.
Yes.
Like people get trained on how to write articles and they earn from it. Online writing is not wrong, but academic writing itself is wrong. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Yes, Jenny. Yes.
My voice is not okay for now. But
Yes,
what I can say is that I concur with my friends here that that is cheating. So it's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that is agreeable. That is cheating, and that is cheating. Yes. Maybe mwingine anataka comment on that? No. Evelyn, make your last word as
Praise God.
1 minute.
There's something bothering me here. I wonder why you people are being bothered with the relationships. Because the problem among you is just relationship. If you've been given that lady to take care of that lady, can you take care of the lady? Huh? Can you take care of the lady? Now, if you've been given that man, can you take care of the man? Why bother about things that you cannot manage?
One thing at a time.
Why waste your time on something that cannot help you? Because if you've been given even that family to manage, you can't even manage. There's time for everything. Yes. Wait until there's time for you to make decision to marry. Wacha kusumbua msichana wa wenyewe, achana na yeye. Wewe pia wacha kusumbua mwanaume mwingine. The best thing, wait until God calls you to get married or to marry. Are we together? Stop wasting our time here with relationships.
Let us rise. Choristers, you will. Choristers, come. Number 120, stanza 1 and chorus. Stanza 1 and chorus, and then.
20 Kiswahili.
Elder Roy will bring it.
Msalaba wa Yesu. Tuimbe kwa pamoja. Msalaba wa Yesu ni karibu, pale pana chemchemi ya kuponya dhambi.
Let's pray. Gracious Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we once again approach the throne of grace, thanksgiving in our hearts. Dear God, thank you for the way that you've led us through the afternoon session and throughout the day, dear Lord. I believe, Lord God, we have learned so much from you and so much from one another. It's my trust and hope that these words were inspired from you. Dear God, in a significant commit these young people before you. They face more challenges, worse than what we did during our time. But my prayer, Lord God, is that your grace is sufficient for each and everyone, depending on their situation, dear Lord. help us overcome each and every hurdle that we face in life. And we thank my Father because you've chosen us. You've called us, my Father. Help us to be faithful, because on our own we cannot do it. But above all, Father, we pray that you prepare us for your second coming. This is my humble prayer in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
God is good, and all the time. Yes, how many have been blessed by that session? Thank you. God bless you. Thank you, Brother Elisha and your team. We are coming to the end of the sessions. At this time, I want to invite Brother Ongayo to give us a devotional thought for 10 minutes. Then we can have time to interact with the staff members even as we walk out for nature walk, either towards the gate or where you decide. That will be okay, eh? Yeah, that 10 minutes, I know you will be done. Then we do the final prayer.
Thank you, Brother Dennis. Happy Sabbath. Happy day. God is good all the time. I want to thank those, the panel. That was very informative of them. There are issues we cannot finish within a day. Maybe our patron will organize with some of our leaders to have another day to do the same. But my job here and now is to give my final thoughts. My job here and now is to give my final thoughts. And because I'm sure we are tired, because I'm also tired. I have a few questions here, very simple questions. I want to ask, and you raise your hand and answer. You know what a black box is? How many have seen a black box or have ever heard the name black box? What's a black box? Where? But you heard about a black box in an aeroplane? Yes, you've heard about a black box in an aeroplane. Eh? What does it do? Now my question is, what is the color of a black box? Color of a black box. First, I thought this is obvious. Color of a black box. Someone is saying it's white. Question 2. There is a war in history called the 1,000 Days War. How long did it last? How long did it last? You are afraid of answering, eh? How long did it last? How long did it last? 1,000 days. Number 3, there is a battle in history that was called the Battle of the Bunker Hill. Where did it take place? The Bunker Hill. Number 4, French fries. Where were they originally? French fries, eh? Yes? France. Number 5, there is a game called the Chinese checkers. Where did it come from? The game called the Chinese checkers came from Germany. The French fries came from Belgium. The Battle of the Bunkers was fought at Breed's Hill in Boston. The 1,000 Days Wars lasted 1,130 days. The black box is color orange. Proverbs 14 verse 12. There is a way. There is a way that, but there are things that seem to be exactly right, but they are wrong. there is a way that looks correct, but it is wrong. That is what the Bible says. The person who said it is Solomon. This is someone who had everything he wanted in this world. And he looked at everything, especially to young people. The book of Proverbs is written, especially to young people. No wonder when you read Proverbs, you see Solomon say, my son, do this and this. My son, do this and this. When you read chapter 3, verse 1, it says, my son. 4, 5, and the same. Because, and today that's my word to you, there is a way that looks right to man, but in the end, it leads to death. We've spoken about social media, we've spoken about a lot of things, and today, between social media and your lecturers, nani anafunza mambo mingi? Between social media, your lecturers, your pastor, and your parents, nani anafunza mambo mingi? Are you sure it's not social media? With who do you spend a lot of time? Be careful. Be very careful as young people. Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 7 again. Solomon is speaking to young people like me and you, and he says, do not trust in yourself. Trust in who? God. He says, don't put a lot of trust in your own wisdom. You know that in my local church, I deal mainly with young people. And when I'm talking to them, I realize when you have a problem, the first person you go to is your colleague. Right or wrong? The first person you go to, madam, the young people go to their own young people. The Bible says, don't trust in yourself or even in yourself. Trust in who? Trust in the Lord. When the whole of the Bible, the key word says, it's trusting in the Lord. I just want to give a short story. Something we know in Genesis 13. Genesis 13 has a story. There's a person called Abraham, and there's someone called Lot. You know that story? Now Abraham and Lot, Abraham was called by God, and he was very rich. He became very rich by the blessing of God. And by association, Lot also became lesson and one associated with the right. Abraham became rich and Lot also became, because Abraham was obeying God, Lot also learned to obey God, and they're all blessed. But now kuna watu wanaitwa wafanyikazi. Wakaanza kuvuruga. It reached a time when, because I guess there were a lot of confidence, Abraham told Lot, sasa wewe, hii hapa ni kubwa sana, hakuna haja tusumbuane. Sasa wewe, tafuta mahali ya kuenda. Alafu, look at this guy called Abraham. He tells this young man, who actually gained all success because of him, you choose first. Then I will choose the remainder. Abraham tells Lord, you go first. What you've chosen, mimi takula mabakshi. So Lord looked at, he was a young man. Young men, they see far, right? And I don't know about how they are, but if it was me today, we look at what can be of benefit to us. So at that time, the Bible records, you can be reading Genesis. The Bible records that Sodom was very fertile. It says it was fertile like Eden. And that city was prosperous. The Washington DC of today, the New York. So Lord akaambia Abraham, wewe sasa, akaona Abraham akaona huyu ni mzee. Akasema mimi nitaelekea wapi? Sodom. But the Bible adds a line there. But the people of Sodom were what? Kama mtu amepata hapo, were what? Were wicked. So when when this young man was making a decision, he looked at his future prosperity. Lugha ya leo tunasema aliona alijipanga, politics alijipanga, but he didn't consider his spiritual position. And so he went to Sodom. He big distance near Sodom, and of course, finally. Then Abraham, this old man, after that guy had gone, God spoke to him, and then he moved a little bit and built an altar. Look at these two decisions. One, the main thing he considered was what will make him very prosperous. The other, the main thing he considered was who? Was his spiritual condition with God. The one went to Sodom, one went to look for an altar. In chapter 14, what is happening? There is war. Who is taken captive? Yes? Lord. Who goes to help him? Who goes to help him? So who was wise? Who made the right decision? In chapter 19, Lot is being destroyed. Who bargains? For who? Who was wise? And even finally, because of that one decision of going to Sodom, Lot lost that. Did he get his wife? He lost his wife. What about his daughters? What about his daughters? He lost them. They actually became a source of problems with life. They brought in Moabite and Ammonite. Sasa mtu alikuwa akitembea akiangalia huyu mzee anaitwa Lot. Alikuwa anasema huyu ni mzee mwenye alifanya nini? You know, when people in society, when people describe you, they describe you with what you do. Kama ulipita mtihani kwa village yenu, watu wakipita wanasema unaona ule kijana wa nani? Wanasema kijana yupi? Ule mwenye alipita, si ndio? Sasa Lot walikuwa wanasema ule mzee mwenye alifanya nini? Mwenye alilala na that was his name in the day. He will only be in heaven because of the grace of God. Make the right choice. Amen. Make the right choice. I still take what you said in the morning. Let God guide the choices. One choice can destroy your entire life. We know people who one choice has destroyed them. Three lessons. One, not everything is obvious. You cannot trust your wisdom. Trust God. There are ways you can discuss among yourselves and think they are right, they are wrong. Do in all things you do. Then Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 7, your memory verse. Read it daily. It reminds us that however much experience you can have, whether you are a lecturer or a student, or you so old, you've had everything you want. Solomon is telling us, even him as an old wise man will not trust himself. Trust in who? God. Talk to God. Number 3, may your choices. When you are making your choices, when you are choosing your friends, not only in relationships, but even the people you like walking around, choose the right. When you are making your choices, be it your jobs, be it the businesses you want to start, be it where you live, your friends in class, consider your spiritual condition. Consider the effect those people will have in your life. One day, when you have people that you realize that the choice you make for your spiritual life is the most important choice in the life. It
affects every other thing. There are 3 decisions you will make in life. Number 1 is the most important decision. It's the decision to make Jesus your personal Savior and to obey Him. That is a decision you have to make. That decision is different from a decision just to come to church. A decision to make God your everything. It's a decision you have to make. The second decision is the decision on who will be your life partner. That's also a decision you make. You not just wake up one day and you have a life partner. That's a decision you make. The third decision you make is your career choice. That's also a decision you make. Those 3 decisions are very important. And at times nowadays, what you study and even your career choice can be different. It could be the same or different. You can study this, and when you leave school, you discover you want to go to some other thing. It's still right. But one thing I'm saying is that the first decision of making God everything in your life is more important and it affects all the others. If you make the wrong spiritual decision, you will assuredly make the wrong marriage decision. And it will assuredly affect your career. You get it? Because if your family is in turmoil, your career, however prosperous it looks, will be in turmoil. So the decisions are in that order. Make the right decision with God, and most probably you will make the right decision with your marriage partner, and most probably you will make the right decision with your career. May the Lord bless us. Amen. Let's rise up, Father. We have prayed. Our Father who art in heaven, we thank you so much because of your goodness, your love, your care, your long suffering, your character towards us. Lord, we long to have a close and very close relationship with you. Because this day we realize that the decision to live in you is the most important decision you have to make. Lord, we long to make that decision. Hold our hands and lead us there. Lead us as young people. I want to bless these students in your hands. Bless them. Guide them. Bless their families. Bless the leadership of this church. Bless the patrons. Bless all the lecturers around them. Guide them and lead them to make the decision to follow you so that one day you may meet in that everlasting. Lord, guide us and lead us. Even as it is past, may your love bind us.